same answer, different perspective. You know, I choose not to. He chooses to, and we have the same answer.
Man, that's that right there. I'm gonna just call you Pastor. That right there, Pastor. That's beautiful, man. Two same perspective, right? And I'm stealing lyrics now. We in the same building with two different views, right? And this is yours. I'm just interpreting it. We have vision, we have strategy to accomplish the vision, we have the ability to speak the strategy to accomplish the vision. Now we must invest in things that we've spoken, strategize it. Man, that's good right there.
I didn't have that written down anywhere. It just, you asked the question, and my boy Eric, Effects Apps, he's like my coach. He's with me all the time. He calls it scratch and sniff. He likes me to do these interviews. He likes when people are stopping and asking me questions, because what they do is they agitate an area. And when they agitate that area, then something comes out of it. It's like scratch and sniff. So I may not have never been able to articulate that thought. Like, I know it's here, it's part of my life, it's my experience, it's what I went through. But you asked it in a way that caused the reaction to agitate that space. You go back, right? My mom gave me love. My dad gave me hard work. My principal taught me how to think. My youth pastor, when I was going into high school, taught me how to speak it and write it and make it plain and simplify it, right? For other people. And then the business owner that I got attached to right out of high school taught me how to invest in it, you know? And so it was just those relationships that I had. And too many people don't value relationships. You know, they don't honor relationships. The relationships, if the relationship is not reciprocal and they don't get anything from it, then they cut it out. And not every relationship is going to be reciprocal in the way that you want it to be. Remember, the same guy who taught me how to invest also told me no. Although I was serving him and honoring him and working in his business and training his apprentice and collecting the rent and managing the building. I mean, I was like a building manager. Although I was doing all those things, the person who taught me how to invest into things with your time, your effort, and your energy, and he taught me in a way through impartation, not through this is step one, this is step two, this is step three. Even though the same person who taught me how to invest into what I believed in was also the same person who told me no. So although it may not be reciprocated, it was still a valuable relationship, and I still honor that relationship to this day.
Yeah, I think you're doing the opposite. You're agitating an area now for me, because it's making me think the importance of relationships, that we can't do this on our own. We need mentors. We need people of influence in our life that can help us and that we can honor. I think one of the biggest lessons, one of the things that I value the most, I tell people, even when that happens to you, even when the guy that teaches you, for example, that business and the investment perspective, we never dishonor. We never dishonor.
Right.
We never go and say, oh man, I got what I got from you, and now forget you. And we become a Peter and we deny you. I never hung out with him, man. Now we don't ever do that, because it just came to me now in the same story of David. When David cuts Goliath's head, watch this. They don't ask. The way they ask about this young boy, the Bible says that he says, whose son is he? They try to associate him. They think about that, right? So whose son is he that he was able to Goliath's head? And I think about relationships. People associate you, whether you want to or not, right?
That's so good.
They associated Jesus when he goes back. Isn't he Joseph's son, the carpenter? So I think about that, the importance of relationships.
Well, you know,
and I see you thinking. I see your mind rolling.
I agree. I think that people put us in groups and associate us with other things, and I think what that has a lot to do with is identity. So there is a huge identity theft that's taking place. And I'm not talking about with your finances and things like that. People forget who they are and where they come from. And so when they're
Right.
identifying that Jesus was the son of a carpenter, they're talking about his lineage, his family line. Oh, like back in the day, you'd be like, the boy John. John, he cuts hair or something. He got the Lexus. The boy with the Lexus.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, yeah, yeah. It's association because people have begun to be identified by what they do and not who they are. There's a whole nother conversation.
Listen.
I'm not identified to people. It may be, and I'll say this to you. I'm not identified me personally by what I do. What I mean, I'm not Tyrik because of Sharper Image Barbershops. I'm not Tyrik because of Premier Barber Institute, and those are my accomplishments. Tyrik created Sharper Image Barbershop. Tyrik created Premier Barber Institute. So people become identified by what they do and not who they are. Okay? I'm wonderfully made. You understand what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And God has given this to me, and I've been a good steward of it. And so He's blessed me to be able to maintain and keep these things. Now, when it comes to different people in association, we tend to give honor to things that people have done. Now, if I'm in a place and say I meet you, right, and we're at a show and you're like, yo, thanks for doing the podcast. You remember Alex, man, we did this. I'm like, oh yeah, how you doing? Da, da, da. And we have this engagement thing, and it's like da 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 da. My man who's over here might be like, yo, who's the boy you was just talking to? Because you was like really excited to see him. Like, how you know him? But the most important thing that said is what I say about you, right? Because that's how I know you. My friend
Yeah.
who doesn't know you, has no idea who you are, who has no idea why I got excited, he may want to know, yo, who was that? The most important thing that I say is what I say about you in that moment. Yo, who's that guy you was talking to, the ball with the bald head and the gray beard? Oh, that's Tyrik Jackson. Oh, he does a Tyrik Talk Tuesday on Instagram. And yo, he just whatever you say about me in that moment is what's important. That's how people will identify you through that association. But the people themselves need to know who they are first. That self-awareness. If they don't have that, then they begin to be what everybody else associates them to be.
Man, that's good. That's a whole separate convo, but that's good. That's good, man. Listen, I definitely wanna honor your time, but I wanna ask this last question if I can. Um, and I think I wanna parallel with what's going on with COVID-19, and we're hearing everybody talking about reopening. What's the plan when we come out of this, and how our economy is going to be affected, and all that stuff going on. And I even associated to the story of David and Goliath. He cuts his head, and they're celebrating, and we have these moments after we accomplish our, let's call them dreams or ideas or visions, right? My question to you is, what's the aftermath? How do we live after the moment that we accomplish? Because I know some people that accomplished something. Let's say if you would have gotten stuck in 2006 after winning that show, $25,000 it wouldn't have lasted you to 2020. Um, how do we get past that moment of accomplishment? And again, I hope I say this all the time. I hope I make sense. How do we continue to live with that same passion and drive?
So a lot of things are going to be. It does make sense. It's called the dexterity of thought. So,
Come
so,
on, Pastor.
so some people have it, some people don't. They think only in the moment. And as I'm hearing you ask the question, I believe I'm able to understand how you're asking it. So what I think you're asking is, how do we get back to the new normal, right? In everything that we had to go through. We're taking a financial hit. We're taking, for some people, an emotional hit, right? For some people, a physical hit, right?
Yeah.
Everyone's being affected in so many different ways. We have to think about what hasn't changed, not what has changed. Too many people are thinking about what has changed. So let's talk about those differences. What has changed is you can't go to work like you used to. So some of us are working from home. Not interviewing the way that you used to, but you're still interviewing. So that has changed. You look at, well, this is how I was making money. And you may not be making as much money, but you may have been able to do some other things, networking or whatever, to generate money. So we did prepaid haircut cards, we did raffle cards for our barbershop, and
Oh,
that's
wow.
another way to generate money. It's not the way we were used to doing it. If we just focus on what we used to do, it's really going to put us in a position of confusion because we may not be able to do it in the way we used to do it. We have to think about what hasn't changed. And I'll give you a couple things that hasn't changed. God's word has not changed. It's the same yesterday, today, and forevermore. While everyone is like, oh, I can't do haircuts, and oh, I can't do this, and I can't do that, and I can't, they're thinking about what has changed rather than what hasn't changed. And for some people, the reason why they're experiencing so much change is because they haven't had that self-awareness and that identity check. This is who I am. And here's a few ways that you can see that. You see parents getting frustrated with their kids online in ways, and they might make a joking video, but they're like, yo, y'all got to get there. I can't deal with these. They're your kids, right? These are yours. They're like, I'm sick of my house. Yes, we all want to go outside, but you worked hard for this home. Enjoy the home, right? Enjoy it. You worked to get this home. It's yours. God has blessed you with it. Enjoy it, right? And so, you're spending better quality time and even better communication with your kids. Before you send your kids to school and somebody else sees them for 6 hours, not you. They come home, you come home from work, you spend 2 hours, an hour and a half, whatever that little bit of time is with that person, and is different. So how do we focus on the aftermath and getting to a new normal? The standard is this: serve your needs by the needs of others. It has never failed me, and it hasn't changed. Even through all of this, everything that's going on, what we're all experiencing, I'm still serving the needs of people. I'm still serving the needs of what I do to my students, of what I'm trying to do for the culture of barbering through my platform on Instagram, and even in this interview. I'm serving your needs at the same time serving mine, because you're provoking thought. You're getting these things that may be in there out, and we're documenting that. So that's something that hasn't changed. But if you focus on what hasn't changed, you'd be in a much better place. If your health hasn't changed, then you're in a good place. If the job that you used to work at is still there, then you're in a much better place. If you have to pivot and shift, then you pivot and you shift. Just like that man that I was honoring, the shop that I was honoring, the building that I was working at, he told me no. That was a new normal for me.
Wow.
I had to pivot. I had to shift my thinking. And I had to focus on what I did have. And what I had was a supportive fiance who loved me. I had a daughter who was very young, and her brother that we were raising. That was what hadn't, and I got to focus on that. I had to readjust my thinking and do that.
Man, seriously, I really appreciate and honor your time. I know we one day I know we'll meet personally, and I just really definitely appreciate this time. So to all my listeners, this audience, I really appreciate you guys for tuning in. This is the best episode that we're going to catch in this season. And we want to thank Pastor Tyrik. Go follow him. I'm going to have all the social media tags and the websites on the links and all that. But again, this is Alex, this is Tyrik, and this is The Drop.